Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and lock your doors. You have entered the world of the unknown. Welcome to the Dead Hour broadcast. Ryan, a young photographer obsessed with urban exploration, had heard the chilling legend of Shonkhopur. It was a cursed, abandoned village, long swallowed by the jungle, containing a dark, ancient secret, the Whispering Well. Local folklore claimed the well could grant the deepest, most desperate desires of the heart, but at the terrible, non-negotiable cost of the supplicant's soul. Driven by a grief that bordered on madness, Ryan was desperate. He had recently lost his fiancée, Leena, in a sudden, tragic accident, and the world had become an unbearable monochrome. Ignoring all logic and warnings, Ryan set out for Shonkhopur one moonless midnight, driven by the singular, selfish hope of seeing Leena again. The village lay nestled deep within a thick, suffocating jungle. The air was heavy with decay and damp earth. The houses were merely crumbled stone ruins, their roofs long gone, surrendered entirely to the grip of creeping vines and wet moss. There was an absolute silence, save for the faint rustling of unseen creatures, yet Ryan felt an uncanny pressure, as if countless breaths were still being held in the oppressive atmosphere. He felt watched, judged, and terribly alone. The well stood at the village's broken heart, beside the remains of an old, forgotten temple. The stones surrounding it were unnaturally cold and slick with perpetual moisture, etched with bizarre, unrecognizable symbols that seemed to writhe in the beam of his flashlight. A fierce, chilling current ran down Ryan's spine, far colder than the jungle night, as he approached the source of the legend. He peered over the rim. There was no water below, only absolute, impenetrable, inky blackness. From that void, a soft, constant murmur rose, a low, maddening hum like thousands of parched, desperate voices speaking in unison. This was the whispering. His hands trembled, his flashlight beam shaking against the carved stones, but the raw memory of Leena, her laugh, her face, her final silent moment, fueled his terrible resolve. Tears mixed with sweat on his face. In a shaking, almost broken voice, he declared his desire into the echoing pit. "Leena, I want her back. I want her back. Here, now, at any cost." The whispering immediately, violently ceased. The abrupt silence was more terrifying than the noise. A cold, pungent, metallic odor like rust mixed with fresh blood wafted up from the deep. First, a single, sickening, jaundiced yellow eye flickered to life in the blackness. Then slowly, with an awful, wet scraping sound, a monstrous, fleshy shape began to ascend the well shaft. It was not a loving spirit or a ghost, but a truly hideous entity. Its limbs were long and spider-like, humanoid only in their basic structure, but its entire body was composed of countless small, constantly twitching, whispering mouths fused together in a sickening mass. The entity tilted its head, and the mass of mouths formed a single, stretched, gruesome grin, hissing, "Cost. The cost is accepted, but you shall receive Leena in a very different form." Ryan screamed, a sound that tore itself from his lungs, pure terror overwhelming his grief. He knew instantly this was not a revival. It was a demonic perversion, a trick meant to harvest his soul and torment his mind. He stumbled backwards, knocking over the broken stones. The thing was swift. Every whispering mouth on its body seemed to collectively call out Leena's name, their voices thin and mocking. "Ryan, Ryan, come to us. He ran towards the jungle path, hearing the dreadful, rapid scrape, drag, scrape of the vile body pursuing him on the stone. He burst out of the village ruins, sprinting past the ancient banyan tree that marked the edge of the known world. He never looked back. He ran towards the distant, hazy glow of the city lights, his heart trying to hammer its way out of his ribs, the taste of rust and fear heavy on his tongue. Ryan returned to the city before dawn, physically exhausted but alive. He looked at himself in the mirror. He had survived the encounter, but a faint, permanent, sickly yellow glow now rimmed his eyes, replacing the white. And his own voice, it had permanently changed, becoming a raw, ragged whisper that he could no longer control. Leena never returned in any form, but the horror of Shonkhopur was now embedded within him. He knew that the well didn't just grant wishes, it took the supplicant's most defining feature, their voice, their sight, their humanity, and merged it with the horrific power he had invoked. Every night, as he drifted into sleep, he could hear the faint, cold whisper inside his mind. "The price is paid, Ryan. Now you too
The
are a
story
whisperer."
ends here, but the fear remains. If you want to survive the night, hit that subscribe button. And remember, don't look under your bed tonight.